afternoon. We gather together here in the room and online, grateful for everyone who's here. Grateful for all our relations that surround us inside and outside of these walls. And on this Pentecost Sunday, particularly grateful for the Spirit within and among us. And in this gratitude, we ask, Creator of all, Child of the earth, Spirit of all time, source of love and wisdom and courage, let your presence be known here today in this community through the words that are shared, through the losses that we've all known and seen around us, through the work that is celebrated, through each person here known and loved. Let your presence and this celebration strengthen our love and wisdom and courage, that we truly go forth today enabled to live a life of justice, beauty, and compassion, and a humble creative engagement with our world. Amen.
Whose land do we stand on? What history lies beneath our feet? First, last, and always, this land belongs to the one who created it. As wanderers, we move through the world the Creator made. We can travel with respect and love, or we can wander with contempt for the Creator and the people we meet along the way. Today we gather where the St. Croix River meets the salt water of the Bay of Fundy. The river that now forms the division between two countries and two communities once was the heart of a nation. What is now a border was once a vibrant center. For millennia, generation upon generation, the peoples of the Pescadumagadi nation lived here and fished the rich aquatic life. They used this gift of the Creator and tended it with love and respect into the 1800s. When newcomers came in ships to this area, some treated the rivers and their guardians as they ought. But as more arrived, many of them regarded the indigenous nation as an obstacle, as people unworthy of consideration. Settlers from across the ocean came with a desire for the resources of the land and a new place to live. Many came without respect for the wilderness, animals, and people. They inadvertently or purposefully brought viruses that killed thousands. They instituted laws that tore children from their homes and isolated the nations onto small reserves. We stand on holy ground, watered by the blood and tears of our Pescadumagadi siblings. When we walk these streets, let us not only remember the stories of those whose home we can still see, the structures around us are still standing, but also and especially those people whose homes were not allowed to stand. Give thanks to the Creator for giving us eyes to see the failings of the past, the need for renewal, and humble hope for redeeming the relationship.
Welcome to St. Stephen's University, to our first convocation as a revivified graduate school of theology, peace, and reconciliation. Pruned for new growth, as reflected in today's ceremony. And a special principal's welcome to all our online guests, to past and present board members, to our predecessor presidents, faculty, staff, and alumni, and of course to our graduates joining us remotely and here in person. Among our dignitaries today, having driven 2,249 kilometers from Atlanta, Georgia, to represent the Board of Governors is our friend Dr. Stephen Harris. Dr. Harris, along with Ernie Ty, Lisa Struthers, Tom Butterfield, and Douglas Murrell, joined our board in January of this year, and we're also pleased to have a long-standing member, Alex Henderson, join us today. Dr. Harris also joined us in Ephesus last month in a hooding ceremony for Brian and Perry Zond, who are with us today. Dr. Zonds, welcome. When they received their Doctor of Divinity honoris causa. Dr. Harris holds a Doctorate of Education, Leadership, and Policy from Harvard University, and a Juris Doctorate from Bolt Hall School of Law, University of California at Berkeley. He's the owner and principal of Harris Consulting. His skills in educational development are most welcome at SSU. I've personally been impacted by his book, Band-Aid, 100 Stories of Race in the Life of One African American. We've invited him here to launch today's celebration.
I was recently introduced to Charlie Mackessy's book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. In that book, the mole, who is my favorite character, dispenses necessitous wisdom, beginning with, if at first you don't succeed, have some cake. Mole continues by posing the rhetorical question, I wonder if there is a school of unlearning. Now, Dr. Jerzak, perhaps not understanding what rhetorical means, has actually answered this question. And he answered it with an emphatic yes. And he points to St. Stephen's University as that answer. I have to admit, I agree. Some students come to unlearn what faith traditions have taught them about culture. Some students come to unlearn a justice that seeks only vengeance and punishment. And some students come to unlearn a history that has served to deny reconciliation among people. But all students have come to explore deeply ideas like justice, beauty, and compassion. They have come to explore these ideas in a brave space where they can deconstruct their beliefs in healthy ways, in a place where intellectual curiosity and academic rigor are not suppressed by doctrine or tradition or by the fear of being vulnerable out loud. Another bit of Mole's wisdom that captures why students come to St. Stephen's University is this. Imagine how we would be if we were less afraid. I am Steve Harris, a member of the Board of Governors for St. Stephen's University, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome each of you. Today's is a ceremony where we honor those students who have completed their course of study, those students who have demonstrated the intellectual rigor required to become graduates of St. Stephen's University, and those students who are prepared to go out in the world and do good work, a little less afraid. I conclude this welcome with a final thought from Mole. Sometimes I want to say I love you, said Mole, but I find it difficult. Do you, said Boy. Yes. So I say something like, I'm glad we're all here. Okay, said Boy. I'm glad we're all here.
My name is Peter Fitch. I'm a teacher at St. Stephen's University. It's my honor to introduce our speaker today, our principal, Dr. Bradley Jerzak. Dr. Jerzak finished his doctorate in 2012 at the University of Bangor in Wales. And soon after, Walter Thiessen and I met him at a college in England where we were teaching too. And it wasn't long before we asked him to come and join us here. So Bradley began teaching here in 2013. I remember that we were walking along a beach somewhere. I think Mary Ellen and I were taking Bradley back to an airport. And I said to him, are you as collegial as you seem to be? And he said, I think so. which I thought was a pretty collegial answer. And I said, what do you think about walking forward into the kind of future, just with open hands, because anything could happen on either side. What do you think about walking forward into the kind of future where I gradually transfer my work at the university as Dean of the Graduate Theology program to you? He said, I'd like it. And so for the next few years, we talked about it. We talked this way and that. We made plans, and finally it happened in 2019. And in 2023, with the suspension of our undergraduate program, our board realized that we still had a very vibrant graduate theology program led by Dr. Jerzak, and supported all the time by Andrew Klager. Bradley and Andrew have just done a fantastic job in this last year, I think, in stabilizing the program, taking it forward. And so in 2023, Bradley became our new president, and it's just my honor to thank you for being such a collegial person to work with, such a joy. You're full of life, you're full of inspiration. He's the editor of several journals, you've written 25 books. I think all over the world people want to know why it is that he's been able to plumb the depths of historic resources to come up with ideas that make an ancient faith seem more beautiful.
So around here, some of our titles are tricky. Dr. Andrew Klager is our provost and vice chancellor, and he and I together share the office of president while I try to present as principal. And so I want to say a special welcome to and from Dr. Klager today. Welcome here, zooming in from British Columbia to be with us. I wonder if there is a school of unlearning. Last night, for the first time, having already prepared, Dr. Harris heard the story of how that very meme led Matt Bergen in the front row here to join us. And it felt like a moment, one of those moments we have here, what Dr. Klager loves to call a confluence of love. And so, to this question, SSU does say there is a resounding yes. Perhaps even this institution can claim a part, but it would be more accurate to say that SSU is a waypoint, an oasis, a provocateur in the school of unlearning that is your life. Our role has been to create together a brave space where questions and doubts and tensions are welcomed, where you are indeed triggered, sometimes on purpose, but your questions are cherished so that they don't devolve into just cynicism and despair. Rather, they open our hearts and our horizons to a spacious place where our souls can wrestle and rest without the denial or delusion or hubris of certitude. How does one graduate from the school of learning? We don't. Today's diplomas are an affirmation of our willingness to not arrive. They describe your proven capacities to explore, to be attentive. They remind you of your spiritual formation into the values of beauty, justice, and compassion, or what Andrew calls bacon junior cheeseburger. We need to remember to go BJC, got it. Rather than cloning you into colonizers of dogma. We are not commissioning you to that, not allowed in our name. But what do we learn in a school of unlearning? Well, I grew up in a Baptist church where 3-point alliteration was essential, and I just can't quite get that out of me. So, we learn to let go, we learn to listen, and we learn to love. And I want to say a few words about each. In the school of unlearning that is your lives that we've tried to facilitate, first of all, we learn to let go. Sometimes that letting go is voluntary, and sometimes it's involuntary. Sometimes that letting go is traumatic and requires years of healing. At other times, it's so liberating you feel you can fly. We let go of old constructs, of old comforts that we find out were in fact hindrances. We loosened our grip and stopped grasping for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, of judgment and exclusion, of the demands of our ego, or the constraints of overconfident and narrow images of God. We learned that who or whatever God is or is not is as important a question, and still only a question, of self-emptying, what we call kenosis in our studies. We learn to let go and become empty so that we can be filled with new things and new ideas and new ways of being. And we learn to listen. We learn to let go, and we learn to listen. Even in the letting go, we can experience tremendous affliction. Simone Weil reminds us that what we suffer can arrest us and empty us and open us into contemplative states that surpass all the other ways of knowing, which is in great part why we try to balance our academic courses with spiritual formation experiences, as we have this week in the residency. Many thanks to Lorna for leading us in that direction, and for Rachel for picking up that baton. It was a marvelous transition, and we're fuller for it. Learning to listen. Words come to mind to me very quickly: attention, discovery, wonder, curiosity, especially to the other. And this is how we learn to be hospitable to those who are different than us without having to lose ourselves or conform them to our own image. Curiosity. Because the other, in my experience at least, often holds keys that I could acquire nowhere else. And so we've learned to embrace the idea of opening our hearts, opening our ears, opening our arms. And in opening our arms, we move to this third element in our school, maybe third semester we'll call it, but it's not really sequential: learning to love. In our history, and especially in the Indigenous history of Canada and North America and all the colonies, sometimes the image of the cross became dominant. A dominant image of God in history. It's very interesting that a torture device would have won the day as the most dominant issue or image of God in history. There's not another image that surpasses that as far as how visible it's been across centuries. But that image has often been used as a violent banner. Under this sign conquer, said Constantine, right? Claiming it was God who told him. A violent banner of conquest and colonization that we have had to unlearn on purpose, because it did not go away itself. To me, in my journey, in my tradition, we had to make a choice about abandoning that image or redeeming it. And for my part, I've come to see the image of the cross as transcending that ugly political, religious connotation, and indeed quite literally embodying and identifying with its victims. In fact, I believe the cross eclipses even the Christian brand itself. To incarnate the divine as self-giving, radically forgiving, co-suffering love. Learning to unlearn, to relearn, letting go, listening, and loving. At least that's where my school of unlearning has taken me. Where will it take you? It's your journey. We've asked Charles Graves to respond to this speech with a song composed from his own journey. Look forward to that now.
Searching still, I'm sailing for uncharted waters. The safest place for wide-eyed wonder. Everything I thought I knew is everything I'm searching for, searching still. I don't have all the answers that I thought I knew before I knew the answers were the questions that would lead me back to you. I don't have all the answers that I thought I knew before I knew the answers were the questions that would lead me back to you. I don't have all the answers that I thought I knew before I knew the answers were the questions that would lead me back to you. Lead me back to you. And everything I thought I knew is everything I'm searching for, searching still.
That could be our school anthem. Thank you for composing that, for sharing it with us, Charles. It's funny, we started with a Charlie today and ended with a Charles. And now, it's time for the conferral of degrees. For the Bachelor of Arts degree, first, in early 2023 when we recognized the necessity of suspending our undergraduate program. The board, the president, and the leadership team made a commitment to ensure that each of our Bachelor of Arts students in process had a path to complete their degrees. They worked very hard at this, and today we are grateful to take the final step in fulfilling that promise. Christine Kay, congratulations. You have successfully fulfilled all the requirements of your program. I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honors. Well done. Moving on to the master's programs. The Master of Arts in Theology and Culture typically requires 45 credit hours, which is the equivalent of completing 3 semesters of coursework, plus a travel module, or its equivalent during COVID, and a thesis. Most of the students experience hybrid delivery through recorded lessons, through Zoom classes, and on-site residencies here in St. Stephen. We'll also note that Master of Arts in Theology and Culture students, some of them have a Peace Studies track, which means that they have included 18 credit hours through the Jim Forrest Institute, which is our Religion, Peace, and Justice program. So we'll begin with the in-person graduates first. Annie Abernathy, congratulations. You have successfully fulfilled all the requirements of your program. I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Theology and Culture. Well done.
When's the trip?
Ask the Zons.
Okay.
Anna Louise Heinrich, congratulations. You have successfully fulfilled all the requirements of your program. I hereby confer on you the degree of Master of Arts, Theology and Culture. Well done. Now our other Master of Arts students receive their degree in absentia. I want to look at the screen at all of you, but I also want to look at you through the camera. And I want to say congratulations to the following students who have successfully fulfilled all the requirements of their program. I hereby confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts, Theology and Culture. And here are the names of those joining us and graduating in absentia. Florian H. Berndt, John Cliff, oh, yes, please. John Clifford Hatfield, Peace Studies track. Michael Murray Rose. Mark Allen Shelsky. And Tabitha Sheeter, Peace Studies track. Master of Ministry degree in Theology and Culture now also typically requires 25 or 45 credits, my apologies, 45 credits also completed through 3 semesters of coursework, a travel module or its equivalent, and either a capstone project or 2 additional independent studies. One of our Master of Ministry students, Karina Lowen, also chose the thesis route. Our Master of Ministry graduates all received their degrees in absentia today. Congratulations to the following students who have successfully fulfilled all the requirements of their program. I hereby confer on you the degree of Master of Ministry, Theology and Culture, and here are their names. Dean Johnston, Karina Jan Lowen, and Susanna Joy Muntz. Now this year, we also have begun a multi-faith chaplaincy and spiritual care course, and we confer a course certificate for those who completed it. What happened is this year, Correction Services Canada and Bridges of Canada approached SSU about offering a course in multi-faith chaplaincy and spiritual care. The following students have successfully completed the inaugural run of that 3-credit course, and they receive a transcripted certificate. 3 of those are with us today in person. They are Matt Bergen, Catherine Colley, Sarah Leonard, and also completing the course in absentia, Melanie Burns, Jonathan Elizondo, Natasha Hazlitt, Nina Novotny, Sarah O'Brien, Carlos Padilla, Jordan Shaw, Daryl Wood, and Kara Zimmerman. Congratulations to the first of many classes that are going to make multi-faith hospitality a reality for chaplains across the nation. Peter, Dr. Fitch, would you please come now for the next event?
So congratulations to all the graduates, and I was watching and I noticed that some of you congratulated yourselves already. Susanna, I saw you clap. and it's totally appropriate. Each year we give an award, a graduate award for research excellence, and this year's recipient is Anna Heinrich. She has presented to this community this weekend the fruit of her labor. It's remarkable. It began as a personal quest to try to understand something that had happened in her own life. Her father passed away while she was kind of locked in Latvia, studying here, but living in Latvia, far away from her family in Australia. And COVID was happening, and it wasn't possible for her to go home. And so she composed rituals and took part in the ways that she could. And it turned out that they were very meaningful to her and to her family. And afterwards, interested in what had happened, she came across the work of a medical ethicist named Dr. Lydia Dugdale. who found a genre of literature in the Middle Ages called the Ars Moriendi, which is the art of dying. So many people were dying because of the bubonic plague, and there were principles about dying well, living and dying well. And so your quest became, how, as it was with Dr. Dugdale, and you studied so many other people, how could we improve the ways that we talk about, deal with, prepare for, and be with those who are dying? And your work is seminal. It's not just research oriented. You also, you came to this community and you found that a very interesting experience had taken place here the year before you came with the death of Kathy Thiessen and Kathy Moorhead Thiessen. And so you interviewed everyone, and it just became the richest study. So we have an award for you. It is the St. Stephen's University Anchored with Wings Graduate Studies Award in Research Excellence. I noticed I was lifting your hood and I thought this is inappropriate at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm Ernie Ty. I'm not on the program for good reason. This was a secret. I'm not in the CIA. The book of John refers in chapter 5 that all judgment on in heaven and earth is given to Christ. In Romans, Paul suggests that vengeance is mine, not mine, more Paul's, mine the Creator. I would suggest that these words do not mean what you think they mean. That vengeance and judgment and justice are reserved only in the context of Christ. Only within Christ can judgment be properly interpreted. I'd like to share with you a symbol here that we've created. On the top of this symbol is the dove, which represents peace, and an olive branch. On the bottom of it is the scales of justice. And the symbol of this means that only through Christ can justice be properly interpreted. Only through the Prince of Peace may justice be properly interpreted. So, we have a charge to everyone, and also a recognition. I had the pleasure this week of getting to know some of the history of SSU, and the honor of understanding the history. And knowing so many people that have gone before and have exemplified this peace and justice, that have stood in the way and stood for peace and justice. Those that have gone before and are still here. It's not like a posthumous thing. Peter, Walter, Jeremy, who I met this week as well, have stood in leadership to this very cause of teaching, toiling, sweating, living this embodiment of this. So the board this year voted and wanted to especially commemorate this year two people in the leadership of SSU that stands for and have taught and have toiled for peace and justice. And we charge everyone in this room, charge all the graduates to leave a legacy of peace and justice wherever we go. So there are two recipients this year of this award. The first I would like for, let's see, I made sure that it wouldn't be damaged, but now I can't get to it. If Andrew Philip Klager would come to the podium. We would like to present this Peace and Justice Legacy Award to Andrew Philip Klager, PhD, by the Board of Regents at St. Stephen's University on this 19th day of May in the year 2024. On behalf of Judith and the Board, may I present this to you. On behalf of Judith and the Board, we'd like to present this next Peace and Justice Legacy Award to Bradley Jerzak, PhD, by the Board of Regents at St. Stephen's University on this 19th day of May in the year 2024.
So I woke up early this morning to spend some quiet moments reflecting on what being an alumni of SSU's Theology and Culture program has meant to me. And it will be no surprise to you that this is a deep well. I think it's pretty common in recent years, especially for those in our graduate program, to arrive a little wounded. I certainly did. The graduates and soon to be alumni here today came to study theology and culture. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the current climate of theology and culture has felt like a bit of a dumpster fire for a while now. I think it's common for students to come here crawling out of that fire, parched and longing for a better way. SSU provides a brave space for students to figure out what needs to burn and what's truly precious and to be preserved. It's a process of discovery, of healing, of becoming. I think one of the things that sets SSU apart from other academic institutions is the way it nurtures a space for transformation to occur without trying to control the end result. This kind of generosity is rare in theological spaces. This isn't to say that we all leave SSU transformed, but hopefully being a part of a learning community that values what's happening in your heart as much or maybe even more than your head means that the learning has gone deeper than it would otherwise. You know what you know and how you came to know it. And today, there's nothing else to be done but to rest in that knowing. It's hard for something so good to come to an end, and that's what this blessing and welcome into the alumni community is for. It is to say, your time studying here has come to an end, but the season of belonging will not. As alumni of SSU, we welcome you into the company of many who have walked this way before. So our tradition is to ask all the alumni of SSU in the room to stand for the alumni induction. And these are in your programs. So all of the alumni will read what's under alumni, and the graduates will read the words under graduates. Sorry, the graduates may also stand. Yes, okay. All right, let's begin. Will you go forward into the mystery, confusion, and joy of your individual and communal journeys?
Whether the way is hidden or open, whether we walk, run, or stumble, we will go forward. With the help of both friends and opponents, we will go forward. With all the impossible help that love will conspire to offer, we will go forward.
We now welcome you into the company of those who have been lost and found and lost again. Through this learning community's compassionate and curious devotion to the love and mystery of God and each other. When life is abundant, may gratitude fill you. When you are too comfortable, may wider vision afflict you. When you are afflicted, may comfort find you.
So I am going to lead us in a hymn, Be Thou My Vision. Please feel most welcome to join me with the lyrics on the back of your program. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night. Waking or sleeping, thy presence, my light. Be thou my wisdom, and thou my true word. I am with thee, and thou with me, Lord. Thou my great Father, thine own may I be. Thou in me dwelling, and I one with thee. Riches I need not, nor vain empty praise. Thou mine inheritance, now and always. Thou and thou only, the first in my heart. High King of heaven, my treasure thou art. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, save that thou art. Thou my best thought, by day or by night. Waking or sleeping, thy presence, my light.
So we're nearing the end of the special ceremony, and it's my job to leave us with the benediction. First, a couple of announcements. So following the ceremony, there'll be punch and light refreshments right here in the Red Room. Chance to mix and mingle. So please join us for that if you're able. The banquet begins at 6. So if you're not a banquet guest, please feel welcome to stay to visit until just a few minutes before the hour. And then, sorry.
There is a bonfire after that. Karen Peterson, what time will that be at?
8 o'clock, I believe.
8 o'clock at
That's where you
Peterson.
live, and I live at 15 Marks Street, just a couple blocks over that way.
And everyone's welcome.
Yeah, 5 Marks Street, go up, look for the bonfire.
8 o'clock?
I believe that's the time, is that correct?
If we're done dinner, yeah.
Yep, change into your grubbies and come over for the bonfire. And please bring your own lawn chairs and any refreshments that you would like to bring. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. So, the benediction is designed to help us end well. And that's exactly the blessing I realised I wish to offer you, the graduates, as you move into whatever life holds for you next. That you will be blessed with the deep contentment that comes from knowing that you have journeyed hard and well and finished well. So as I read this blessing for all our graduates here and online, I hope we can also, all of us in this room, receive it for the work we have undertaken in the world and with each other. May you hear these words in the marrow of your tired, happy bones, and may they bring you contentment. Job well done. May you hear this in your heart, not in your misguided ego with its illusion of separateness and its urge to doubt or prove itself, but deep in that sweet core of you which knows you can never be separate, deep in the well of you, which drinks in satisfaction as a gift and turns to share it with others. Job well done. May these words carry you forward into sustaining and sustainable rhythms of good work and good rest in the good company of those with whom you journey. Job well done. And I completely forgot my answer question. Because that's the next bit we're going to do, and this we do all together. So you'll find that on the other side of the insert. So parting blessing at the top, and we all take part in this. So there's parts to this. It's all right, I'm going to tell you, all right? Don't freak out. So I'm the leader, and those staying are those who are not graduating, that are still studying, or still teaching, or still working here. That's all of us, the leader and those staying. The graduates, you know who you are. You just received your degrees and certificates. And everyone is everyone. Okay? So we'll do this together. Would you please stand with me, everybody, for this parting blessing? We bless your roads
and your journeys. May you be cherished. May you find and offer peace.
We bless you with wine and water, bread and stories. May you be fed, may you be challenged.
We bless you with wind and fire, joy and wisdom. May you be comforted, may you be filled with life.
We bless this community and everything it represents. May you live well, may you be encouraged.
We bless one another within the cycles of joy and growth, the blessings of the pilgrim leaving and those of the pilgrim staying.
May God, who is present in sunrise and nightfall and the movements of the sea, encompass you in love as you go. May you travel ever deeper towards the love at the heart of the world.